Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So before diving into these topics, do me a favor, if you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, make sure you leave it a like. If you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And I also want to take a moment to just thank everybody for what was another great year here on the channel. 2022 was awesome, I think, for PlayStation, for gaming in general, and it's just an honor to be able to continue to do what I do here on the channel for you guys, and I appreciate your support immensely. So here's hoping that 2023 will be even better. But we're getting right into the first topic here, which talks about GTA 6 and how, according to one insider, they strongly believe it will be announced in 2023. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, known insider Tom Henderson strongly believes that GTA 6 will be officially announced by Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive in 2023. He remains firm that Grand Theft Auto 6 will release in 2024 or 2025. However, his bet is on 2025, given that GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 were released 2 years after they were announced. Quote, "I said that GTA 6 will release in either 2024 or 2025, which is a firm date I strongly still believe is happening. A 2023 announcement would line up with these years perfectly, especially if you're familiar with how Rockstar Games and Take-Two have generally handled their game announcements and releases in the past. Is a release announcement for 2024 possible? Sure, but Rockstar's track record suggests that the game will be pushed back another year anyway," end quote. So I just wanted to cover this because I don't think it's inside information. It's coming from a very reliable industry insider, but to me it just seems like speculation, but I am in agreement with it. I do imagine we will get a proper GTA 6 reveal and announcement next year. Now, as to whether it's going to release in 24 or 25, I'm thinking 2025. I think that 2024 is a bit too optimistic, but one last thing I want to mention here before moving on is, as a PlayStation channel here, I'm going to be very interested to see where GTA 6 shows up. It's worth noting that when Sony did their 2020 Future of Gaming event, that was the big reveal of the PlayStation 5, the thing that they opened with was talking about their partnership with Rockstar Games and talking about GTA 5 coming to the platform. So it's not, I think, completely out of the realm of possibility to imagine that if a GTA 6 announcement does happen, we could see it happen at a PlayStation show. Just figured I would mention that. But moving to the next topic, we have a small update on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We've been talking a lot about Final Fantasy 16, but fans are also really eager to learn more about Rebirth. Now, this is coming from Push Square, where they say, as translated by Gamatsu, producer Yoshinori Kitase had the following to say, quote, "I hope to be able to deliver an update on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when the timing is right. Please look forward to it," end quote. The game is still tentatively scheduled to release in late 2023, although realistically, it's hard to imagine Square Enix launching the remake sequel in the same year as Final Fantasy XVI, which is currently slated for June 22nd, 2023. Nevertheless, we'll be surprised if next year came and went without any new trailers for Rebirth. And so it is a very small update. In fact, I would even go as far as to call it a tease, not necessarily an update. But it's nice to be hearing this because, again, Final Fantasy fans are incredibly eager to learn more about Rebirth. For as excited as they are about Final Fantasy 16, you know, this is going to be a pretty big deal, I'd say, back-to-back for Final Fantasy fans. So when we get something proper from Square Enix for Rebirth, I will be sure to update you guys on that. Moving on to the next topic, though, this is an interesting one. The Last Guardian and Shadow of the Colossus Legend is aiming for a 2023 announcement, again from Push Square. Fumito Ueda, the game designer behind Shadow of the Colossus, aims to fully reveal his next game in 2023, speaking as part of Famitsu's annual New Year Ambition series, as translated by Gamatsu. The Gen Design head honcho and former Sony luminary said that his team is, quote, "working hard to be able to finally announce something, so please give us your support," end quote. Ueda formerly headed up the Team Ico division within Sony's Shutter Japan studio, but he went freelance during the Last Guardian's infamously protracted development cycle. His studio, Gen Design, has since signed a publishing agreement with Fortnite maker Epic Games. We've seen glimpses of the team's new project, showing a translucent lady and a giant fist, but nothing too revealing. You should probably expect the usual fare: thoughtful, provocative, innovative, and dare we say, a touch pretentious. Nevertheless, having directed 3 of the greatest PlayStation games ever made, we are eagerly anticipating his next project. So I wanted to let you guys know about this because, yeah, this is, I think, going to be a pretty big deal when this game is announced. Now, I highly doubt it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive because, as it says here, this isn't being done in partnership with Sony. It's actually being done in partnership with Epic Games, but I imagine it will still come to PlayStation. And, you know, if you're a fan of any of these games, you're going to want to pay attention to this. Now, I personally played Shadow of the Colossus, and I thought that game was incredible. So this is something I will definitely be paying attention to when it's announced. Moving on to the next set of topics, though, this is a pretty significant one that if you have been following all of, you know, the new announcements and updates from Konami regarding Silent Hill, you're going to want to pay attention to this. We have an original story here from WCCF Tech where they say a PlayStation 5 game titled Silent Hill: The Short Message received classification from the Taiwanese Game Rating Board. The board assigned a PG-15 rating for violence, horror, and inappropriate language. It's not the first time we've heard this name from a rating board. 3 months ago, Silent Hill: The Short Message was also rated in South Korea as well. Konami did not announce a game titled Silent Hill: The Short Message. However, the renowned Japanese publisher did unveil several Silent Hill projects in October. And so there is actually an update to this where it says that Reset Era user and renowned leaker Dusk Golem found an official cover art and game description of Silent Hill: The Short Message from the Taiwanese website. But the official description reads, Anita came to an abandoned apartment to meet her friend Maya and somehow woke up to find herself trapped in it. She must escape her own fears and the monsters lurking in the corridors, discover the truth behind the events she's trapped in, and try to escape before her own trauma consumes her will to survive. So it also says here that the short message was apparently developed in-house by Konami themselves. And to round this out, going over to Reset Era once again, Dusk Golem did follow this up by saying there is at least 3 Silent Hill projects which haven't been announced yet, not including the short message. Yes, really, but one of them is in very early development. So this is quite interesting to me because you would have thought that Konami would have laid everything out on the table regarding Silent Hill during their actual showcase that was dedicated to this franchise, but apparently that's not the case. People even thought that maybe this short message demo was actually canceled at the last moment. Now, it's worth noting that this demo is only rated for PS5. Apparently, this is going to be some type of PlayStation 5 exclusive demo, and the fact that it was rated a second time tells us this is real, this is happening. So at this point, I'm really just curious as to when this is going to be announced and where it's going to be announced. Maybe it's just going to randomly be dropped by Konami at some point early in 2023. Maybe Sony is planning some type of show, maybe a state of play, maybe that's where it will show up. Maybe there's going to be another Silent Hill transmission, something along those lines. But I also find it incredibly interesting that Dusk Golem is claiming that there are actually 3 other Silent Hill projects, not including this one, that have not been announced. This is kind of crazy. I mean, you want to talk about Konami making up lost time. Clearly, that's what they're doing here. So be sure to let me know your thoughts on that. But we are moving on to the final topic here, which is just as interesting, maybe even more interesting. We have an unannounced PS5 first-person shooter that is apparently releasing in 2024. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, they say internet sleuths have found references to an unannounced PS5 FPS in the portfolio of a former PS Studios visual arts developer, and is apparently set to release in 2024. Sony has previously confirmed that PlayStation Studios are collectively working on well over 25 new games, including a AAA shooter or shooters. However, we haven't seen a single reveal yet, and there's been no indication of a release window for any of these games. So looking over this profile, it is very interesting because they have DS2 here, which is apparently a 2024 game. Can't say that's too surprising, but Maybe we can imagine that DS2 is the big tentpole release for PlayStation in 2024. But below that, it says upcoming first-person shooter, and it says 2024. Now, it doesn't list a studio, but this could very well be either Firewalk Studios or Deviation Games. These are two studios that are working on exclusive FPS titles for PlayStation. I have to imagine it's one of those. But below that, there is also an upcoming third-person cooperative shooter, which is scheduled for 2023. And that's very interesting to me because that means whatever this game is very far along in development to the point where it's going to be releasing next year. We've been talking about if Sony maybe has some titles that have not been revealed yet, but are scheduled to release in 2023. Well, if this is anything to go by, there's at least one third-person shooter that is. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what type of announcements Sony is planning for 2023. But yeah, there we go. I figured I would let you guys know about this. That's going to do it for the video though, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Leave it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.